Hi, my name is Rebecca. I'm so glad to be a part of Life Community Church as the administrator. Our mission here is to help people know Jesus personally and serve him passionately. If you're new, you can go ahead and subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications bell so you can be notified of new content and videos that we upload weekly. Stay tuned for one of our messages.
This week, we're going to look at that outer reflection. And hopefully you're reflecting the right things. But I want to encourage you that if you're not, for some reason, if you're not reflecting the right things, that you have an opportunity to change that paradigm. You have an opportunity right now to shift things. The idea that the things that we're projecting is a part of how we sometimes see things. And it may even be ingrained in such a way that it's just the way that we do things. It's just the way that we've always done it. You know, when I get mad, I just always storm off. Oh, when I get mad, I gotta always tell somebody how I feel. They're going to get a piece of my mind. You know, oh my goodness, the church has hurt me. I would never go back to church. These are real things that I've heard. I say that, not to sound graphic, but I've had some meals that didn't agree with me right. And the day after, I saw the results. Can I say it nicely that way, Ashley? People have gotten, I've never gotten it, I don't know, this thing called food poisoning. It's a nasty thing I've heard. But received because you've had one bad meal. Or even two bad. Just say if you had a whole week full of bad meals. Is that going to stop you from eating, Erica? Not especially when the picanha is right there. So I don't want you to stop thinking that you have to always do this thing the same old way. I want us to be encouraged, the fact that we can look at what are we projecting, the outward reflection of ourselves, and really latch on, grab on to what God wants us to project. It's law of first mention, I talked about this before, the law of first mention. Whenever you want to find out something about God and the way that God intended it to be, you go to the Bible and you find the first time it is mentioned in Scripture. You want to find out what marriage is all about, despite what the world is saying, you go to God's Word. And you go to the first time he mentions putting a man and a woman together. If you want to find out about finances, you want to find out about love, you want to find out about relationships, you go to God's Word. And you go to the first time you see it in God's Word. And then you see how God intended it to be. And so the first time that we see this thing called reflection, the first time we see this thing about projecting, we go back to Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1, verses 24 through 28. And this is what God's word says. Watch this. Then God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind. Someone say order. God is a God of order. Cattle and creeping thing and the beast of the earth, each according to its kind. And it was so. Verse 25, and God made the beast of the earth according to its kind, cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Campbell's soup, good. Then God said, watch this, then God said, let us make man in what? In our image. Our image is a what? Reflection. Let us make man in our image, according to what? Our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. Verse 27. So what does God do? So God created man. This is the word man for mankind. In whose? His own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and what? Female, he created them. Then God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over everything that moves on the earth. Verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of man, God created him or them. This idea of our outward reflection, what we project, is all based upon this particular scripture. That all of us, male and female, young and old, are all called to be image bearers of God. And being an image bearer of God is us being called into being a reflection of the original image. It's a reflection of the image. Now, real quick question. What's the source of the light that we get at night? You can call it out right now. What's the source? What's the source of the light in the evening, at night? The moon, yes. But who here knows is not the source? The moon only what? Reflects the light from the sun at night. The moon, the only job that the moon has to do is to reflect what's given to it. And guess what? From that reflection, we receive something positive. We receive light. This is what I want us to wrap our minds around as we are image bearers of God. It's not for us to make things up. It's not for us to say that we have the job of doing so. Our job is just to be moons, to reflect what's given to us, to reflect God as we serve, as we follow, as we're faithful to him. And the idea is saying, Pastor Larry, how am I sure that I'm reflecting? Well, like I said, as an image bearer of God, we see that during creation, God brought order. If what you're doing doesn't bring order to chaos, you need to rethink what you're reflecting. If when chaos comes, you only add to the chaos, you need to rethink what you're projecting. And maybe I'm not projecting the right thing. When storms come, what did Jesus do? He calmed the storms. If when storms come, you're only adding to, when winds come, you just the big bad wolf. If you're adding to the storm, maybe you need to rethink the reflecting that you're doing when there's no hope in a situation. And all you can do is come like Job's friends. Well, they called them friends. And give even less hope. Yeah, man, you really deserve that. Woof, man, you ain't no way out. You might as well just pack it up and just quit. As opposed to giving hope to people that are suffering, showing love to people. Watch, there are people out there who feel unlovable. And our job as being that image bearer, that reflector of God, is to show them that you can be loved. Not only can be, but you should be loved. And we're the church. We're the ones that should be reflecting God's love to them. So what does it mean to be an image bearer? What does it mean not only to be an image bearer, but to be God's image bearer? And I got 3 points and we are done. But I'm not sure. I don't want to rush them, but I want to make sure that we get them today. The first thing on being an image bearer is that we have to know the fact that we bear his image by reflecting his holiness. Our lives as Christians, it requires us to live a life of being holy, patterned by the life that was lived by Christ. He showed us, he taught us what that looked like. There was a theologian by the name of Thomas Watson, and he said this, I love this. He says, a Christian should be both a magnet and a diamond. A magnet in drawing others to Christ, and a diamond in casting a sparkling of luster, of holiness in others' lives. Are you a magnet? Are you drawing others to Christ? Are you a diamond? Because I don't care how much you paid for that diamond ring, but if there's no light that shines on the diamond to make it shine bright like a diamond, you won't really see the beauty of the diamond. We're not just saved to say that I'm free. Here's my get out of jail free card. I'm going to heaven. This is the day. I'm going to heaven. That's what salvation is all about. I was destined for hell and I am going to heaven one day. This is not what it's all about. Being an image bearer is us living lives that honor God. And how do we honor him? Is by living holy lives that bring glory to him and to his son, Jesus Christ. It's 1 Peter 1, 14 through 16. It says, so you must live as God's obedient children. Don't slip back into your old ways of living to satisfy what? Your own desires. You didn't know any better then, but change in direction. But now you must be what? Holy in most of the things you want to do, right? You must be holy in everything you do, just as God who chose you is holy. You must be holy in every. See, once again, we compartmentalize God at times. It's a little God over here and a little world over here. It's saying that God, on Sunday, I love you, God. I serve you, God. I sing to you and I give you my all on Sunday. But on Monday, they don't even know that you're a Christian at your job. When they find out at your funeral that brother Ithaca was a saved man, he was saved? And when the people act surprised, you understand that you weren't living a holy life in everything. And I'm not saying that this is something easy to do. But who here knows that anything that you do that's great will never be easy? Listen, my wife, Dr. Jessica Redmond, our member here, Dr. Lisa Gray, got their doctorates in therapy and counseling, family and marriage and Christian counseling. Do you think it was easy to get to that point? It was easy, Lisa, right? It was easy, right? It was very, very easy, right? It breeze, right? You just all you do is pay your tuition and they send you your doctorate. When anything is worth getting, it's worth doing. And that's what we sometimes we don't understand that. But the good thing about God is that he doesn't make you do it by yourself. John 17 to 19, it says, this is Jesus, make them holy, not by anything else, but by your truth. We're made holy by the truth of God. Make them holy by your truth. Teach them your word, which is truth. Just as you sent me into the world, I am sending them into the world. And I give myself as a holy sacrifice for them so they can be made. Be made. You're not doing it yourself, so that they can be made holy by your truth. How do you start moving in that direction of being holy? Getting more of God's truth. not the lies of the enemy, not your talk show, not, oh my goodness, not your horoscope. It is a Wednesday. My horoscope said not to go outside because there's going to be problems outside. Please, whatever. God's truth is the thing that makes us holy. So we should be compelled to reflect the holiness of God. And the way, I'm not going to point at you, but the way for you to find out whether or not God's holiness is actually working within you, look at your fruit. Look at your fruit. I'm not going to look at it. I want you, this is the evaluation. I want you to look at your fruit. Are you producing fruit? Good fruit. If you're not, then you may need to reevaluate whether or not you're reflecting God, whether you're a true image bearer of God. Now, this is what I want. And this is the part that people always say, well, I ain't perfect. You know, the big tattoo when I was coming up was only God can judge me. That's true, but I can look at your fruit. I can give you a good evaluation. It's none of us can live a sinlessly perfect life. Because when you say holy, that's what we're thinking of. There's no way I'm going to mess up. And yes, you are. Because there was only one sinless person that ever walked this earth. And his name was Jesus. The only one. But that shouldn't stop us from trying. It shouldn't stop us from making an attempt to achieve what we're called to do. Now listen, I love football. Tomorrow, pray for me. But I also love basketball. Oh, I do. You know, I can say as a Philadelphia native that each one of our teams has at least one championship. It's true. He ain't lying. But even though I followed my own teams, there was another man in the league who played basketball by the name of Larry Bird. Great name. Oh, that name Larry right there. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Shamanadua. And this man, Larry Bird, was one of the greatest free throw shooters of all time. If the game was in line and Larry Bird went to the line, 9 times out of 10, with that little side shot, he'd be talking, yeah, we're going to get down the court and swat, and we're going to get on, and you get on him and whack. Like he wasn't even thinking about it. Because in his mind, he was going to make the free throw. Now watch this. In his mind, he thought he was going to make it, but he also knew that there was a chance that he wasn't going to make it. He knew that even though it may be perfect, there may be something going on, a wind may come and knock it, something may happen that wouldn't allow that free throw to go in. But in his mind, he thought that every shot he took was going to go in. That's what our life should look like right now as we strive for holiness. It's saying, God, I can't live a sinlessly perfect life, but I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to go to the line. I'm going to set and settle myself. I'm going to take my dribbles. I'm going to go and shoot. And guess what? If I don't make it, I practice. I take the time by myself to get into your word, to read it, to prepare myself so when the next opportunity comes for me to shoot, I'm expecting to make it. That's what holiness is and should be for our lives. You should expect that when the times come, when you're called to a state of determining whether I make the decision for God or make the decision for myself and my flesh, that I'm going to choose God. That's what holiness is about. Holiness is a matter of us meticulously not just following the rules and regulations of the code, but it's us emptying ourselves so that God's Spirit can come in and fill us. The truth, when it comes in, it fills us, it occupies that space, and it prepares you for those instances when you're called to say, I need you to be holy in everything. In the way that you think. Pastor Larry, I don't beat my kids. I don't cheat on my wife. I don't cheat on my taxes. I live a good life. I cut my neighbor's lawns. But you have those impure thoughts. No one can see them. Those may be the instances that you go into the truth, that you allow this God's Spirit to come inside of you to fill you. So that when the shots come, when the enemy attacks you, like a flood, that those standards that are raised by God allow you to say that I am going to live a life that reflects holiness. I'm going to live a life above reproach, that so when people look at me, they can say, that's a godly person. That's a person that lives upright. I'm going to go to them when I need answers to a question. I'm going to go to them when I need counsel. We're to reflect holiness, but that's just not it. We're not just here to bear God's image by reflecting his holiness, but secondly, we bear God's image by reflecting his heart. God's heart, the same heart that was in his son Jesus Christ, a heart that was spiritually maintained through an intimate relationship with the Father. How do you maintain your heart? Stay in close, intimate relationships with the Father. Jesus' heart was so obedient to his Father that every part of his life, every part of his heart's desire was to please God. Do we live our lives like that today? That every part of me, God, I want to please you. John 8:29 says it better. He says, and the one who sent me is with me. He has not deserted me. This is Jesus. For I always do what pleases him. You sure, Pastor Larry? I can't do what pleases me. You know, because I'm put on this earth so I can be happy, right? I'm here so I can have a good time. We're put to please God, to please him. That's how we receive that joy. But we're locked up. We're bent over. We're broken to a point because we're always seeking to please us. And then at the end, once everything is really just down, that's when you throw God in. All the wheels off the car, God. The brakes is down to the pads. All right. Down to the metal. Thank you. Thank you. My wife, was that Nate? Who said that? Who said metal? Dave. Woo. Thank you, Dave. Because my wife was trying to get me. She'd be like, get the brakes changed before I get down to the metal. I'm like, we got another week. Next thing you know, the mechanic said, well, it would have cost you $40. Now it's going to be $500. As you're going through life, understand that I'm going to do the thing that pleases God. I want the heart that God and Jesus have. I want that same heart to be in me. A heart that's driven by this thing, this 4-letter word called love. What's your love life look like? Huh? Don't go there. Don't go there, Sister Trish. What does your love life look like? It's hard. Worship. It's hard for me to believe that if you've removed love from your life, that you'll be able to pursue holiness. Because guess what? Because holiness pursued without love equates to self-righteousness. Let me say that again. Pursuing holiness in your life without love is a thing called self-righteousness. And guess who exhibited that in the Bible? The Pharisees. Self-righteous. I've done it. Me. Look how good I am. No, it's only by the grace of God. It's only by me following Christ. It's only by me submitting to the Holy Spirit. It's only by me chasing after, seeking to say, God, I want to please you. That's the only way that I can be a reflection of you, God. I can't believe that a person who's not reflecting the heart of God and not reflecting and displaying the love of God can truly think that he's actually an image bearer of God. For you to do this, to reflect God's heart, you have to have a deep compassion for the lost, because God does. To follow after God, you have to have a yearning to love the unlovable because God does. That's the heart of God. That's what we're reflecting. That's the image that we should be carrying. But the hard part is a lot of us weren't taught how to love. A lot of us we weren't taught at home by our parents because all we saw was them fighting. A lot of us didn't learn from our friends because some of our friends were opportunistic and they're your friends because what you had, the prodigal son. Some of us didn't learn in relationships because in relationships we were manipulated by the other person. They gave us flowers, but they only wanted us our bodies. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Amen? They just gave so that they could get. We didn't learn from our jobs because our job just wanted us to come in, punch in, do the work, and go home. Many of our jobs. And heaven forbid, it's not here. But many of us weren't even taught love in the church. Many of us were actually taught the opposite of love. And we're taught manipulation. We were taught hypocrisy. We were taught callousness. We were taught a lack of compassion right in the church. Ephesians 4:32 says, instead, be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, just as God, through Jesus, has forgiven you. That heart of God, the reflection, that image bearer. What does your heart look like? Is it pounding with passion? What does it look like? Is your heart committed to compassion? If it isn't, God wants to use us to be his image bearer, to reflect his heart. And the last point is lastly, we're to bear his image by reflecting his glory. Someone say his glory. Not ours. I just watched the Texans. Oh my goodness, they tore up Cleveland Browns the other day. I felt sorry for Flacco. But C.J. Stroud, at the end, I love athletes that don't have a problem with saying certain things. They came up to me and say, CJ, great game. You are a rookie. You have an opportunity of possibly getting, the MVP of the league. You're leading your team to the playoffs, and you're the top quarterback rating in the entire league as a rookie. Oh, what does it mean? The first thing out of his mouth was, giving all glory and honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It wasn't about what he did. He acknowledged that all the glory belongs to God. That if God had not given him the talent, he wouldn't be on that stage. If God hadn't given him the mind, he would be out somewhere doing what God knows. Whatever. Is all the glory in your life going to God? It's a challenge. It's a challenge. I told you, if you don't come into the presence of God and are not challenged, then maybe you weren't in God's presence. But I can tell you, as I prepare my sermons, as I read, as I study, as I listen to them over and over again, I am challenged each and every week by God. The idea of reflecting God's glory has a central concept of being committed to a life of discipleship, because we're growing, we're learning every day. And we're learning how to reflect this image of God in our lives. A lives that's molded not by the world, but lives that are molded by his Spirit, by him. We have to be okay with, we have to be comfortable with us growing into this, though. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. Now, for some, I can honestly say, there are some that came to the Lord that were dealing with certain things that they had struggles in their life, and God immediately removed those things, and they became better image bearers of Christ. But that's not the testimony of most of us. And you have to be okay with the growth process, and I have to be okay with the growth process and all, but as long as we're growing in the right direction. I love the fact that whenever you have a plant and you're seeding, you're watering it, and you're preparing it, if you set that plant in a place where light is coming from the right side, guess what direction that plant will grow? Towards the light. And that's where our lives should be. As we're image bearers, is the light that we're reflecting causing people to come towards the light? Is understanding that this is going to take a long time. And none of us are a finished or complete in this process. In 1 John 3:2, it says, dear friends, we are already children, God's children. We're already, the moment that you give your life to Christ, you're already a child of God. But listen, but he has not yet shown us what we will be. Someone say will be. There is a will be in your life if you allow it. There is a will be that you can be in your life if you're committed to it. What it will be like when Christ appears. But we know that we will be like him. We know that we will be like him, for we will see him as he really is. Being an image bearer, seeing Christ for as he is, we will perfectly reflect him when we see him face to face. Our mission as being God's image bearers is always remembering to reflect his glory and to always point others to God and not to us. The only reason that we shine, the only reason that we glow, the only reason that we illuminate is because we're reflecting something that's bigger than us, something that doesn't belong to us. We don't own God's glory. We don't own God's heart. We don't own his holiness. We're merely giving it back off to those that we come in contact with. 1 Chronicles 29:11, yours, O Lord, is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory, and the majesty. Everything in the heaven and on earth is yours. O Lord, this is your kingdom. We adore you as the one who is over all things. When we remember that we're merely image bearers of God, that we're reflecting God, and that's our called purpose in life. Pastor, I don't know my purpose. Well, that you can go back to Genesis chapter 1 and see that why we were all created. We were all created to be an image bearer of God. Now, how do you do that? That's your calling. But it's the idea that I want to encourage you, the fact that as we're image bearers of God, that should humble us. That should humble us, that God has entrusted with us this privilege of being an image bearer. We should be encouraged because we're becoming. The idea is don't get stuck where you are. Know that you're always becoming. You're a human being, not a human stucking. You're becoming, you're being each and every day as you allow God's truth to come into you. As we allow God's image to be reflected by us in each and every way at every part of our lives. That should help us to know what our outward reflection should look like. And to know that he's not done. Someone say, he's not done with me. I need to hear it a lot louder than that. He's not done with me. To say that and to know it. Listen, I'm telling you guys, many of us feel as though God is done. We're finished. That's why the thing called suicide is high now. Because you feel as though it's over. It's no way that God can love me. It's no way that I can get back on track. The devil is a liar. He's the father of all lies. He's a deceiver of the brethren. So you think he's going to tell you the truth? The truth is God's word. The truth is God's spirit. The truth in the flesh was Jesus. Being an image bearer is understanding that God, I want to bear your holiness, your heart, and your glory, because you're not done with me. And I may not be on that track right now, but I've got today to start down the right path. If you're here right now, or if you're watching us online, you have today to get back on the right track. He's not done. And we're going to close with Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. I love this. I'm reading in the new NLT, and then we're going to go to the New King James. It says, and I am certain, someone say, I'm certain. I am certain that God, watch this, who began the good work within you, will continue his work until it is finally finished on the day when Jesus Christ returns. Many of us memorize it in the King James. It says, being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work, he's begun a good work within you and within me. He's begun this good work in you, watch this, will complete it until the day that Jesus Christ returns. He will complete it. Pastor, I'm not a perfect image bearer. That's okay, because I'm confident that he will complete it. Pastor, I just keep getting it wrong. I don't know what to do. Well, keep on trying, keep on pressing, because I am confident that he will. Someone say, he will. That he will complete it. God's the one who's doing it. He's doing all the heavy lifting.
Thank you for watching today's sermon. If you're encouraged and inspired by today's word, be sure to share it with one of your friends. And also be subscribed to our YouTube and our Facebook so that you can be notified of new content that we bring to the table. Also, if you'd like to support our ministry here of Life Community Church, you can do so by going on our website and clicking the tab Give. We hope you have a great week.